If your business can only make money when you are posting, speaking, selling, answering questions, appearing on camera, or personally delivering the work, there is a question that is worth asking. That question is, have you built a business or have you built yourself another job? That question can be uncomfortable because modern entrepreneurship rewards visibility. We see the founder on podcasts, the live stream, the social feed, the conference panel, and the sales calls. What we usually don't see is the architecture underneath the business. And that's what I want to talk about today. I call this idea the ghost architect. The name is not about disappearing, and it's not an argument against marketing personal brands or showing your face. And it certainly isn't about creating some magical collection of automations that supposedly makes effortless money while you're sound asleep. Real systems don't begin with automation. They begin with the research, decisions, testing, correction, documentation, and maintenance. The ghost architect is simply a founder who understands that being visible can help build the business without requiring them to become the permanent main character. The real work is designing what happens behind the scenes. And there's a particular mirage in modern entrepreneurship, and it's very easy to confuse performing the business with building the business. You can post every day, network constantly, answer comments, go live, attend events, take sales calls, send messages, launch something new, and watch the engagement numbers grow. And all of that is and can be useful. But activity is not the same thing as infrastructure. Attention is not automatically revenue. And revenue by itself doesn't mean you have built something durable. You can have a highly visible platform and still own a very fragile business. Because if sales stop when you stop talking, fulfillment stops when you step away, and every customer question eventually lands back in your inbox, then the business may have an audience without having much independence. So here's the distinction. Visibility gets attention. A clear offer gives that attention someplace to go. A reliable system delivers the value. And a durable business can continue creating value without requiring one person to personally perform every step. Being known can absolutely help a business. Being required everywhere is something totally different. That is where visibility becomes a structural weakness. And I want to be careful with that point because this is not an argument against personal brands. A founder's expertise, your general perspective, your personality and reputation can definitely be extraordinary assets. They can help earn trust, and especially in the early stages of business. People trust people. A strong founder presence can also open doors that a logo never will. But the problem begins when the founder slowly becomes the entire operating model. Essentially, you become the product. At the same time, you're also the sales department, the customer service department, fulfillment. And eventually, you become the only person customers trust enough to make a decision. And at that point, your visibility is no longer simply supporting the business. The business is now dependent upon it. And that's why staying off camera and reducing founder dependence are two completely different things. Staying off camera is a content decision. Reducing founder dependence is an operating decision. The goal is not necessarily to disappear. The goal is to make your presence optional. You should be able to show up because your judgment, personality, or expertise adds something valuable, and not because the entire machine loses power when you leave the room. So, what does a ghost architect actually build? Let's think about it in layers, but 4 to be specific. The first is demand. How do the right people reliably discover the business? That might happen through searchable educational content, referrals, partnerships, direct audience relationships, strategic outreach, or another channel that fits your market. The important word is not passive. The important word is reliable. You're creating a path that does not force you to wake up every single morning asking, what do I need to perform today so people remember this business exists? Okay. The second layer is the offer itself. Can a potential customer quickly understand what problem you solve? Do they know what they're getting? And do they understand how the process works and what they need to do next? A vague offer often creates founder dependence because the founder has to personally explain every single time to every single customer, and that lack of clarity creates a burden. The third layer is delivery. This is where good work begins to become a repeatable work, where you create your workflows, your templates, your documentation, quality checks, use appropriate automation, and where it makes sense, you even delegate. But automation can only come after understanding. Automating a confused process does not make it sophisticated. It just helps to make confusion move faster and things quickly spin out of control. And speaking of control, that's the fourth layer. Can you see what is actually happening inside the business? Where the customer is getting confused? Where is delivery slowing down? What keeps creating errors? And where are you still functioning as the only available solution? And this last question is often where the real architecture begins, because some of the most valuable assets in business are almost always invisible. It may be a documented method, a specialized intellectual property, a productized service, the digital resource, a licensing model, a recurrent offer, or simply a brand that customers trust even when they could not identify the founder in the grocery store, right? So let's make this practical. So imagine an experienced consultant who solves the same general type of problem again and again. At first, every client starts with a call. Then comes a custom explanation, then several emails, followed by slightly different process for every project. The consultant keeps reinventing the work because all of the expertise still live in their head. They're very good at what they do, and the problem is that being good can be very exhausting. So you need to start looking for patterns. They define the specific problem that you need to solve. Then you need to create a structure, like an intake process. You develop a repeatable way to diagnose the issue, and then you build templates for the part of the work that do not need to be reinvented for every customer. Next, you need to document the customer journey and then automate the administrative steps that make sense to automate. Finally, keep your judgment exactly where your judgment creates the most value. And the business will begin to take off. Or so that's what we think. That's not always the case. While it has become better designed, it doesn't mean you're going to go 0 to 100 real quick, as they say. It just shows that you started tuning into your business and using a system that can serve more people. without having you recreate the entire business every time a new customer arrives. So when that 100 does come in real quick, you can move quickly. And this is where an important distinction appears. Automation is not the asset. The system is the asset. Automation may support the system, but the real value is the thinking that made the process clear enough to repeat in the first place. So do not wait until the business is approaching 7 figures before you start thinking that way. Start when you're making $7, $700, $1,300. When you wait, that will actually make the problem harder to solve down the road. The architecture that supports a large business begins with learning how to serve the first consistent customers without unnecessary chaos. Scaling does not repair weak systems, it only exposes them. 10 customers may tolerate a process that depends heavily on your memory, but 100 customers can turn that same process into a daily emergency. We've all seen the meme of the dog at the desk surrounded by fire saying it's fine. That can very quickly become you. So even in a very small business, it's worth asking, what happens when I'm unavailable? Which part of this work genuinely requires my judgment? And which part simply needs a clear process? Also, what knowledge still exists only in my head, and what do I need to do to get it out? And what keeps interrupting me because the business has never been given a defined way to handle that particular issue? And again, the idea is not try to solve everything at once. The first goal is not to build a perfect automated machine, right? It's to separate income from unnecessary founder effort, one process at a time. And here's one way to test where you're staying. I call it the no stage test. So you need to imagine stepping back from the daily performance of the business for 30 days. Okay, just imagine. You're not stepping away from your ownership or responsibility just from constantly being a person on stage. And you need to consider what would actually keep working. Could the right customers still discover the business? Could they understand what you offer? And could they purchase or request a service without having to chase or contact you personally? And could the work move through a documented process? All these things need to have real answers. And in those answers, you'll reveal the actual architecture of your business and any gaps that need to be closed. And there is one important warning here. You cannot remove the founder's face and remove trust at the same time. So you can't automate away proof, your differentiation, your accountability, your customer care. Behind the scenes definitely doesn't mean absent. And automation does not mean neglect. And private does not mean untrustworthy. The ghost architect still roams those halls, okay? It still shows up. But the nature of the work begins to take change. You show up to design, improve, to make decisions, to protect the standard. And that's very different from personally carrying every dollar across the finish line. So let's go back to the original question that I started with. If your business can only make money when you're posting, speaking, selling, answering, appearing, or personally delivering the work, what have you really built? And remember, this is not a question to incite criticism. It's just to help provide you with clarity. And sometimes founder dependence, depending on what stage your business is exactly where it needs to be. Early customers teach you what the people who are interested in your services actually need versus what you thought they may need when you created the offer. So direct conversations and hands-on delivery can also help. So again, I'm not telling you to disappear. I'm suggesting something far more practical. Show up long enough to learn what the business needs from you. Then build it well enough that showing up becomes a strategic choice and not a mandate. Because the most powerful business is not necessarily the one that makes the founder famous. It's the one that gives the founder options. So this week, take one part of your business and ask yourself one question. Does this truly require me, or has no one taken the time to design it a better way? And that answer may surely show you, exactly what you need to build next. And if you need some help figuring that out, click the link in the description box and explore my tools and services and fill in the intake form, and I'd be happy to connect. And I would genuinely love to hear from you, your answer as to where you are at the no stage test. Let me know where your business is still more dependent and how you want it to be going forward. Drop that down in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to The Intentional Operator.